Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto. Hope you're having a good one. So, like I told you, there's a ton of news going on, especially in the regulatory space. Let's start with the SEC going against the Voyager purchase by Binance.US for $1 billion. They're really just grasping at straws there. I don't know if that's actually going to stop the deal from going through. I mean, just always at the last minute. So we'll see how that goes. The Chamber of Digital Commerce, just because of things like this, is saying it took action against them using an amicus brief filed in the SEC versus Wahi case, saying that the SEC has falsely mislabeled certain digital assets as securities. They really are building a case against the SEC doing these kinds of things, and they're trying to get away from allowing the SEC to continue its tirade on, you know, I guess prosecuting, or legislating through, not legislating, but regulating through, prosecution. I think there needs to be a stronger, more concerted effort to get if the government's not going to do something about Gary Gensler and the SEC, then we're just gonna have to start putting into a pool and start going up against them. I said this yesterday, and I've been thinking it for a while. It's just really big. I mean, I don't have a lot of money, but there are a lot of people. If we each put in $5, that would build up, some kind of a pool that would be able to be used to fight the SEC, because it's just rampant now. It's just ridiculously rampant. New York State Attorney General Letitia James is going after CoinEx. And I can't say that I disagree. There are rules in New York State. You have to register if you're going to do business like that. And she's basically saying, hey, you didn't file, you didn't register with us. And she cited, basically the Martin Act. So that's actually, I kind of agree with that move. Not happy about it, but I kind of agree with it. You did break the rules. That's not to say that I agree with some of these rules. With the implementation of the rules, but rules all rules, and you should maintain the guardrails. Polygon suffered an outage. What happened was a few of the nodes that certain PolygonScan had gone out of sync. They've since brought it. It looks like they've since brought it back, but it was down for a bit. It was on all hands on deck kind of thing that was going on. Got to pay attention to that. They did. They got all over it. It looks like everything's been, put back in shape. The Federal Reserve is looking for an expert to help them develop a CBDC. Meanwhile, Congressman Tom Emmer of Minnesota is saying, listen, go ahead and develop your CBDC. You just should not be allowed to issue that thing against or to private retail investors. And he cites, privacy rights. And I totally agree, because basically you can track whatever is going on, how people are spending their money, if they can spend their money. Think of you having $10 in your pocket and the government says, nope, that $10 is no longer valid. That actually can happen with the technology. So I think that's kind of a big deal. I think that's just going to be a messy thing that we're going to look at, with regard to that. Further, China seems to be warming up a lot to crypto. Now, mind you, China had been steadfast against crypto. So to allow Hong Kong to actually be the first government in the world to issue a government-backed bond or a government bond, that's one. Two, allowing Hong Kong to actually create their own rules and regulations around crypto, that's big. Tencent being allowed to actually have a Web3 initiative being publicly announced, maybe they're warming up a little bit to crypto. And I think we should be paying attention to that, because they would introduce a lot of money into the market, and that could have an impact. China's not sleeping on crypto, and that should be a signal to the world that even China is waking up to crypto. Just saying, right? Something else that caught my attention, Deutsche Bank, back in October of last year, it was October, I announced that, they're being sued for discriminatory practices. So they haven't been, their stock took a hit, so they haven't been looked at in good light. Well, they're introducing this thing called a digital asset management access platform, which is basically their tokenized asset platform, right? And they're allowing more efficient and cost-effective access to digital assets. And they just finished their trial, so that could be actually something that's pretty good for them. Canada is saying no to algorithmic coins, algorithmic stable coins, while maybe giving a pass to fiat-backed coins so long as they are liquid and the reserves are liquid and audited on a monthly basis. That is kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. They're basically saying certain companies can do business here and certain companies can't. So we're gonna have to pay attention to how that kind of fans out, right? But the one that really caught my attention, I was up crazy early this morning for no reason, just couldn't sleep, and I'm thumbing through the news, and I come across a tweet, and it says nothing. It says nothing. There's a little round blue dot in the center, and then it fades and then comes into a date, 2/23/2023. And the tweet was by Coinbase. The dot looked like what could be a coin, and it was in Coinbase Blue. Now, put that together with earlier this month, I reported that Kathy Wood's ARK Investments dropped $9.2 million to get coin shares, right? And then, what is it, just yesterday, maybe the day before, something like that, she dropped another 13 point something, I think 13.1, 13.2 million to buy more shares of coin. And I'm just sitting here thinking, Coinbase could not be coming out with their own coin, right? Like, what are they doing? What does this mean? That's wow. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I don't have any thoughts as to whether I would agree with the move or disagree with the move, but that would be ridiculously interesting if they came out with a coin. I'm not going to say anything else about that because it's, just tons of ideas swirl through my head over this very cryptic tweet. So that's something I'm paying attention to. So I hope you're paying attention as well. Normally I would sit back and I would go through the numbers. Today I just don't think that it's that big of a deal to go through the numbers. They're moving laterally since yesterday. Nothing's really taking a major hit. Bitcoin is down at about 23,772 right now as I'm looking at it. Now here, I'll show it to you. So if you're looking at Bitcoin at 23,783, Ethereum's down below 1,700 at 1,637. These are things that I'm looking at that I'm kind of like, that's not really all that interesting. XRP takes a dive. Polygon took a little bit of a dive, $1.35. It had been up as high as $1.50 recently, $1.51. So those are things that I really am paying attention to. And the reason why is because, the whole market seems to be taking a shave right now, right? There is some place I do want to look at, which is Trading View. I'm going to look at that chart before we go. And come on, let's go catch up. There you go. Yeah, it's just moving. We came close to dipping below that 23,417 number. Excuse me, right about here. Right, and that's right there. And I'm kind of like, and we're playing with it again right here. I think we can possibly stay above the 23,417, and that's something that I want to key in on. And the reason why, again, that was a previous low that we had maintained for a while, and like I said, I just want to see us maintain above that line, because if we can maintain above that line, sustaining above that 25,210 is not going to be, unforeseeable. You'd be able to figure out, we're going to hit that 25,210 and we'll be able to maintain it. As you can tell, for the past, there have been 3 points, 1, 2 right here, 3 right here, that we have hit that point. We just have not been able to actually break through and maintain, because you know how it is. When I have a line, I need to see the market break through and maintain, and I'm just not seeing that right now. But that's kind of the news as it is today. But don't think that just because I spoke about a few things, there's a lot going on. Just look at how it's grouped. You have regulatory issues that are going on. Let me flip back to this. You have regulatory issues that are going on right there. You have big moves by banks, going on out there. Something else that I noticed on the news today, you had Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo a month ago had said we're going to get out of the mortgage business, and they just laid off hundreds of mortgage brokers that'll wind up going to other banks, maybe because their thought is mortgages are going to take a hit. So I'm sitting back and I'm going, these are all things, if you're paying attention, these are all things that can affect the market. All right. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, drop a note. Hopefully I can get to it and learn a little something on the way. Have a good one. Bye-bye.